On Local 4, we are going to start with news about the coronavirus. We have the first test results for 3 patients in Michigan. Also, General Motors making a $2 billion bet on its future right here in Metro Detroit. We'll talk about the money, the cars, and the jobs. Ben.
Karen, how much would it cost to just buy some sunshine? The clouds are really thick out there, but is that the only thing we have to worry about this week? We'll check it out for you right now. First at 4.
Local 4 News starts now with a breaking news alert.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Karen Drew. We start with breaking news. We have the first test results on Michigan patients suspected of having the coronavirus. Now, this is good news. The results are negative for all 3. The 2 patients from Washtenaw County and 1 from Macomb are in the clear for the coronavirus, according to the CDC. Now, there is 1 new patient in Washtenaw who is being tested as a possible case. Across the U.S., 5 cases have been confirmed, 2 in California, where health experts urge common sense safety precautions.
There are steps that everyone can take right now to reduce the risk of getting sick from circulating viruses, including coronavirus. This includes remaining home when ill, washing hands with soap and water frequently, and getting vaccinated against the flu.
China's premier visited the city of Wuhan, which is ground zero for the coronavirus outbreak. Li Keqiang put on a face mask and protective clothing as he visited a hospital and told workers more supplies will arrive soon. He also visited the site where a new hospital is being built to handle the coronavirus cases. That hospital is expected to open in a matter of days. In China, at least 81 people have died and more than 2,700 have been infected. General Motors just threw the Detroit Hamtramck plant a $2 billion lifeline that will bring the underused factory into the future of transportation. This is big. GM President Mark Royce announced the company will spend $2.2 billion to refurbish the plant. It will be used to build a series of electric and self-driving vehicles. GM says the plant will eventually employ 2,000 people. It's quite a turnaround as GM announced plans to close the plant back in 2018. Business editor Rod Maloney is working to put this all in perspective.
You could best call it an epic turnaround. The Detroit Hamtramck assembly plant all but dead as of November in 2018, and all of a sudden it has come back to life in a big way.
We are truly building the future today, and we're doing it here in our hometown and our home state, just up the road from our world headquarters.
So how did this happen? What brought all of this together? And now what are they going to be building here? We'll have full details on all of that coming up on Local 4 News at 5.
All right, thank you, Rod. It was an emotional scene outside of a gas station on Detroit's west side after 2 people are found dead. This happened around 10 o'clock this morning at the mobile gas station at the intersection of Finkel and Greenfield. We're told a man shot and killed 1 person at random and then turned the gun on himself. Police are still piecing together how and why all this happened. We will have new details tonight at 5 when you join us. Now, the president's impeachment trial, if you haven't been watching, the debate over new witnesses is growing, even as the president's defense team is building its case. Legal expert Kenneth Starr argued the Constitution sets a high bar for the removal of a president, and he doesn't think the Senate can reach a true consensus.
We will all agree that the presidents, under the text of the Constitution and its amendments, are to serve out their term. Absent a genuine national consensus reflected by the 2/3 majority requirement of this court that the president must go away.
It's not clear how long the defense team will go away. Right now, let's get to Kimberly Gill. She's in the newsroom tracking the debate over new witnesses with one particular person in mind. Kim.
That's right, Karen, and good afternoon to you. It's former National Security Advisor John Bolton who's once again at the center of this impeachment drama. He reportedly writes in a new book that President Trump told him to withhold military aid from Ukraine until that country helped with an investigation into the Biden family. The president denies that ever happened, but some senators say it shows the Senate needs to hear from Bolton. Even some Republicans are leaning that way. Listen.
I think it's increasingly likely that other Republicans will join those of us who think we should hear from John Bolton. And whether there are other witnesses and documents, well, that's another matter. But I think John Bolton's relevance to our decision has become increasingly clear.
It boils down to one thing. We have a witness with firsthand evidence of the president's actions for which he is on trial. He is ready and willing to testify. How can Senate Republicans not vote to call that witness and request his documents?
Yes, and today the president welcomed Israel's prime minister to the White House. The president had already tweeted a denial this morning, calling Bolton's story false. On top of that, he offered this brief dismissal. Listen.
I can tell you nothing was ever said to John Bolton, but I have not seen a manuscript. I guess he's writing a book. I have not seen it.
Opening arguments right now. We are monitoring their presentation, and we'll have an update tonight for you at 5. And I do apologize. Oh, there are the live pictures there. We are monitoring this, and we will have an update tonight at 5. The president's defense team has one more day to finish its arguments. Then there will be 16 hours set aside for senators to ask questions to the defense and House managers. After that portion of the trial, senators will decide if any other witnesses or information will be presented. So, Karen, we'll be here monitoring everything every step of the way, as we always have been. Until then, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
All right. Thank you, Kim. From Detroit to Los Angeles to all around the world, people are sharing memories and tributes to the late Kobe Bryant. The reality of his death is still sinking in one day after his helicopter crash, killing all 9 people on board. The NBA legend is being remembered with a growing memorial at his high school outside of Philadelphia. On the other side of the screen, you can see the same thing happening half a world away in the Philippines. He's being remembered outside a newly built basketball court nicknamed the House of Kobe. Many fans say their memories go beyond the sport he played.
In the scoreboard of life, no matter where it's at, just, keep going. And I live with that every day, that Mamba mentality, you know what I mean? I live with it every day. We all do, whether you realize it or not in some kind of way, you know what I mean? It's just the ambition, the drive.
Local 4's Jemmy Edmonds has been gathering reaction from Detroit Piston players to the loss of one of the greats.
Since news of Kobe Bryant's death broke yesterday, friends, fans, and fellow athletes have been processing it in different ways. Today was the first time we could hear from the Pistons, and the overall consensus was still of shock and disbelief.
Fake news. I was in the locker room. I was here with Christian Wood, here with Lewis King. News dropped, and I don't think I said anything for the next 3-4 hours.
The Pistons gathered at their practice facility for shoot-around in preparation for tonight's game against Cleveland. Each and every player had a Kobe story.
Kobe's not looking like Kobe, and he kind of gave a glance. Cheeks tried to shut my mouth, and he's like, "Don't say that." Next thing I know, after an overtime game, he ended up with 26. So that was just, he commenced to take over.
The Pistons say they have to get back to business, back to basketball. That's what Kobe would have wanted.
And he was a computer on the floor. And just a great competitor for our game. There's just so many games and so many memories coaching against him, and it's too many to count.
Coming up at 5, more reactions from the Pistons, including a very emotional Blake Griffin, who had a special relationship with Kobe, plus what the team might be planning for a tribute in tonight's game. Jamie Edmonds, Local 4.
And right now in California, the investigation into that helicopter crash that killed Bryant is just getting started. His 13-year-old daughter was among the other 8 people killed on that flight. We'll keep you posted as we learn more about what went wrong. Well, when it comes to Michigan winters, you can't have everything. It's kind of gray and gloomy today, but some people say, well, at least it's better than not a ton of snow. I don't know. Are we making anybody happy out there, Ben?
If this is all we have to worry about, Karen, we're doing okay. Temperature-wise, we're above average, mid-30s. Not far above average, but we are there. We don't see any huge areas of cold or warmth on the other side, so generally, we're going to stay pretty consistent this week. consistently above average, that is. And the rest of tonight, just a very slow fall down below freezing as we head towards midnight. Notice that those clouds not going anywhere in the short term. We'll see if we can break them up as we get later into the 7-day forecast. And could we possibly see our 4th weekend storm in a row? We'll look at that in just a few minutes. Karen.
All right, still ahead, coffee lovers, we've got a story that could make you curious about a flavor we didn't know about, or it might turn your stomach. We'll explain in Trending Stories. Up first, it is the royal scandal that is not going away. American prosecutors have an update on their investigation connected to Prince Andrew and Jeffrey Epstein. We'll tell you what they're saying today, right after the break.
She quit corporate America, fired up the grill, and now this local woman is grilling, smoking, braising, and more. Tasty Tuesday, 6 a.m.
The threats are real, and they affect everyone. That's why Local 4 is committed to defending the environment. Local 4 and Click on Detroit, getting results.